Chosen one, listen carefully. This message is not for everyone. If you are here right now, it is by divine design. God has placed this message before you, and you must not turn away. There is something you have been doing, something so small, so seemingly innocent, that has been holding you back. And today, God is saying, enough. There are forces at work in your life that you cannot see, but God sees them. He sees the conversations you have, the whispers you share, the trust you place in the wrong hands. He hears the words you have spoken in moments of vulnerability, words that were never meant to leave the sacred space of your heart. And now, He is warning you. Your secrets are sacred. You must guard them with the strength of your faith, or you risk losing the very blessings He has prepared for you. You have been called, chosen, set apart. Not everyone around you carries the same anointing, and not everyone is meant to hear the dreams, the visions, the divine revelations that God has placed within you. Some will not understand, others will envy, and there are those who will use your words against you. Do you feel the weight of this truth? Have you ever shared something deep, something precious, only to watch it be ignored, dismissed, or worse, twisted into a weapon against you? God is saying, no more. This is not just a lesson in wisdom. This is a spiritual command. Your secrets are not just personal. They are sacred. They are woven into the divine plan for your life, and revealing them too soon can alter the course of your destiny. God has seen too many of His chosen ones lose their path because they spoke when they should have remained silent. He has watched as trust was placed in the wrong people, and the result was pain, betrayal, and delay. The enemy thrives on information. He cannot read your mind, but he listens. He waits. He uses what you reveal to create obstacles, to plant doubt, to manipulate your path. When you speak too soon, you give him access to your destiny. But when you remain silent, when you trust only in God, you become untouchable. Chosen one, this is your moment of awakening. From this day forward, guard your words as you would guard your soul. Hold on to the sacred knowledge that God has entrusted to you. There is power in silence, power in discretion, power in trusting that God will reveal all things in His perfect time. Do not let your blessings be stolen by careless words. God is watching, and He is calling you to wisdom. Stay with me, because what I am about to share next will open your eyes to the unseen battle surrounding you. You must understand why this warning is so urgent, why God's anger is stirred when His chosen ones reveal what should remain hidden. You are standing on the edge of something great, but the difference between stepping into your destiny and losing your way lies in what you choose to say, or not say, next. Chosen one, what I am about to tell you is not just advice. It is a divine warning. Your secrets are not just words. They are sacred. They are woven into the blueprint of your destiny, given to you by God, meant to be nurtured and protected. But when you reveal them too soon, you invite interference. You expose your divine path to forces that do not have your best interests at heart. Have you ever felt like every time you share your plans, they fall apart? That as soon as you confide in someone, things start going wrong? That isn't a coincidence. There are unseen spiritual battles waging around you. The enemy cannot create, but he can manipulate. He listens, waiting for an opportunity to disrupt, to delay, to discourage. When you speak carelessly, you provide him with ammunition. God has entrusted you with something special, an assignment, a purpose, a calling. Not everyone around you is meant to hear about it. Some will misunderstand, others will envy, and some will actively work against you. Even well-meaning people, those who love you, may not be spiritually equipped to handle the weight of your revelation. They might unknowingly cast doubt, spread fear, or project their own limitations onto your journey. This is why God is warning you. Be still. Be silent. Be discerning. There is a time to speak, and there is a time to remain silent. Just as a seed must remain buried in the dark before it breaks through the soil, your dreams must be protected before they can manifest. The moment you reveal what is still in development, you risk it being trampled before it has a chance to grow. Think about Jesus. There were moments when he spoke in parables, revealing truth only to those who were ready to receive it. He didn't share everything with everyone. He understood the power of timing, of discretion, of divine strategy. And now, God is asking you to do the same. Trust Him. Wait on Him. Let Him reveal things in His perfect timing. You are closer than you think to a major breakthrough. But the difference between success and setback may lie in your ability to hold your tongue. God is watching, and He is calling you to a higher level of wisdom. If you truly believe that He is leading you, then trust that He knows when and how to reveal your purpose. Stay with me, because what comes next will give you the clarity you need to protect your destiny. There are 4 critical truths that every chosen one must understand about divine secrecy. If you grasp these, you will unlock a level of spiritual protection that few ever reach. Are you ready? Let's continue. The enemy is always listening. He does not know your future, but he watches, he observes, and he waits for you to reveal it. His greatest weapon is not force. It is deception. He convinces the chosen ones to speak before the appointed time, to expose what should remain hidden, to give away the very things that were meant to be protected. And when they do, he does not need to steal their blessings. They hand them over willingly. This is why God urges silence. Not because he does not want you to share your joy or your vision, but because he knows the power of words. He spoke the universe into existence. He breathed life into man. His words create, and because you are made in his image, so do yours. Every word you speak carries weight in the spiritual realm. When you reveal what is sacred, you give others access to your destiny. Some will cherish it, but others will mishandle it. And some, whether knowingly or unknowingly, will seek to sabotage it. Have you ever noticed that when you keep something in your heart, it flourishes, but the moment you share it, obstacles arise? That is not coincidence. There are people assigned to your life for different purposes. Some to uplift, some to test, and some to distract. Not everyone who listens to you is listening to understand. Some listen to find weaknesses, to gather information, to manipulate. Even those closest to you, those who love you, may not be equipped to handle the weight of your calling. Look at Samson. His strength was not in his hair. It was in the secret behind it. Yet, he revealed it to Delilah, someone who was never meant to hold such knowledge. And the moment he spoke, his power was taken from him. His downfall was not the enemy's strength. It was his own vulnerability in the wrong hands. And so it is with the chosen ones today. It is not the outside attacks that weaken them. It is the misplaced trust, the words spoken in confidence to those who do not carry the same anointing. God's anger is not out of wrath, but out of love. He sees his chosen ones falling into traps they were never meant to enter. He sees the pain, the delays, the disappointments that could have been avoided if only his children had listened. He has given wisdom, discernment, warning signs, yet still many ignore them. They continue to speak when they should be silent, to trust when they should be cautious, to reveal what should be concealed. But now, things must change. God is calling you to a higher standard. There is too much at stake for careless words. Your future, your destiny, your purpose. It is all being shaped in this very moment. The discipline you develop now will determine the level of blessings you are ready to receive. God does not withhold good things from His children, but He does wait for them to be prepared. And part of that preparation is learning when to speak and when to remain silent. There is protection in silence. There is wisdom in keeping sacred things between you and God. Jesus Himself demonstrated this. He did not reveal His full purpose to everyone. He spoke in parables, revealing truth only to those who were ready. He withdrew to pray in secret. He performed miracles and instructed others not to speak of them, not because He feared man, but because He understood timing. He knew that revelation given too soon would be misunderstood, twisted, or used against Him. And if the Son of God chose discretion, how much more should we? The world will always seek to pull information from you, to demand explanations, to question your faith. But you owe no one an answer except God. You are not obligated to explain what He is doing in your life before it is complete. Some things are meant to be seen only after they have come to pass, so that no man can take credit for what God has done. Chosen one, step into this wisdom. Walk in the protection that God has provided. Hold your sacred knowledge close to your heart, knowing that not everything is meant to be shared. The power of your calling is in its mystery, and when the time is right, God Himself will reveal what needs to be known. Until then, let silence be your shield. There is a divine order to revelation. God does not show everything at once. He unfolds His plans in layers, allowing understanding to come in His perfect timing. But when you rush ahead of Him, when you speak before the appointed time, you interfere with that order. What was meant to be a season of growth becomes a season of struggle. What was meant to be a time of elevation turns into a time of unnecessary battles. The enemy is subtle. He will not always come against you with force. Sometimes he will come disguised as a friend, a confidant, a harmless voice of reason. He will send people who appear trustworthy, who seem to support you, but who carry doubts, fears, and intentions that are not aligned with God's will. These are the ones who will question your vision, who will tell you that you are dreaming too big, that your faith is misplaced, that your calling is unrealistic. And if you are not careful, their words will plant seeds of uncertainty in your spirit. This is why God calls for silence. He does not want His chosen ones to expose their purpose to those who cannot comprehend it. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next season. Some people were only meant to be part of your past. When you carry them into your future, you create weight that was never meant to be there. The wrong voices in your life can delay your breakthrough. Look at Moses. He was chosen to lead, but even he was not exempt from the danger of speaking in the wrong moment. When God instructed him to speak to the rock, he struck it instead. In his frustration, in his impatience, he acted outside of divine instruction. And because of this, he did not enter the promised land. A single moment of disobedience, a single decision to act outside of God's timing, changed the course of his journey. Many of you are standing at the edge of your promise, but you must be careful. God is testing your ability to hold what He has given you. Can you keep silent when necessary? Can you trust that He will reveal what needs to be known at the right time? Or will you allow frustration, impatience, or the need for validation to cause you to act too soon? Silence is not just about keeping secrets. It is about surrendering control. It is about acknowledging that God's plan is higher than your own. When you remain silent, you show Him that you trust His process. You prove that you are willing to wait on Him rather than seek approval from others. And in that waiting, you build strength. You develop discernment. You learn to hear His voice more clearly. God's anger is not a punishment. It is a call to correction. He does not want to see His chosen ones lose their way because of careless words. He does not want you to experience unnecessary hardship because you gave away what should have been protected. This is why He warns you now, so that you can shift your actions before it is too late. There is a shift happening in the spiritual realm. Those who obey will walk into a new level of favor, of authority, of divine revelation. But those who continue to speak carelessly, who continue to share sacred things with those who are not meant to hear them, will find themselves facing unnecessary battles. God is refining His chosen ones. He is preparing them for something greater. But only those who listen, who walk in wisdom, who embrace the discipline of silence, will be ready to receive it. Chosen one, take this message to heart. Hold on to what God has given you. Let wisdom be your guide, and trust that when the time is right, He will reveal all things in His perfect way. There is a reason why Jesus often withdrew to quiet places, why He spoke in parables, why He told those He healed to tell no one. He understood the weight of revelation. He knew that the more people knew, the more opposition would come. The miracles He performed, the truth He spoke, none of it was for public approval. It was all part of a divine plan, unfolding exactly as God had ordained. And yet, time and time again, people rushed to spread the word, to speak before the time was right, to reveal what was meant to be hidden. The same happens today. God moves in someone's life, whispers a revelation into their spirit, and instead of guarding it, they announce it to the world. They share it with friends, with family, with anyone who will listen, not out of malice, but out of excitement, out of a desire for confirmation. But what they fail to see is that not everyone who listens is for them. Some listen to understand, others listen to criticize, and some listen to destroy. There is a reason why great spiritual battles follow great revelations. The moment you speak, you place a target on your back. The enemy does not need to attack what he does not perceive as a threat. But when you begin to walk in your calling, when you begin to step into what God has spoken over you, opposition arises. Doors that once seemed open begin to close. Relationships shift. Unexpected resistance appears, and many, confused and discouraged, wonder why things suddenly became difficult. But look closely. What changed? When did the battle begin? Was it not after you spoke? Was it not after you revealed what was meant to be kept between you and God? This is no coincidence. This is a pattern. A trap that has caught many before you. When Nehemiah set out to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, he did not announce his plans to everyone. He moved in silence. He surveyed the land at night, keeping his purpose hidden until the time was right. And because of this, he was able to complete what God had called him to do despite fierce opposition. Had he spoken too soon, had he given away his strategy before it was fully formed, his enemies would have had the advantage. The same principle applies to you. You are building something. It may not be a physical wall, but it is a wall of purpose, of destiny, of spiritual alignment. And if you allow the wrong voices to enter into your construction process, you risk delay, confusion, and unnecessary struggle. God is calling His chosen ones to a new level of wisdom. He is asking you to move differently, to walk with discernment, to trust Him more than you trust the opinions of others. Because the truth is, some of the opposition in your life was never meant to be there. It was invited in through words spoken too soon. But do not be discouraged. God does not reveal these things to condemn you. He reveals them to correct, to protect, to prepare. What has been lost can still be restored. What was delayed can still come to pass. But from this moment forward, let discretion be your guide. Let wisdom be your shield. Chosen one, the next phase of your journey requires silence. Not secrecy out of fear, but silence out of faith. It is an act of trust, a declaration that you believe God is working, even when you do not see it, that you trust Him to reveal your purpose in His time, not yours. Hold on to this truth. Guard what He has given you, and know that when the time is right, no force in heaven or earth will be able to stop what God has ordained for you. When God begins a work in you, it is not meant to be broadcast before it is complete. Some things are meant to grow in silence, protected from the interference of outside voices. The enemy knows this, which is why he does not always attack you outright. Instead, he waits for you to speak. He waits for you to expose what should remain hidden, and the moment you do, the resistance begins. Think of a seed planted in the soil. It does not break through the ground immediately. It spends time beneath the surface, growing roots, strengthening itself before it ever sees the light of day. If someone were to dig it up too soon, they would destroy its ability to grow. And yet, so many chosen ones expose their divine purpose before it has taken root. They speak too soon, they trust too easily, and in doing so, they invite destruction upon what was meant to flourish. God's anger is not about punishment, it is about protection. He sees what you do not see. He knows the dangers that come with premature revelation. He knows the forces at work behind the scenes, the unseen battles being waged over your destiny. And so He warns you, be silent, guard what I have given you. Do not let the enemy steal what is yours. There are moments in life when silence is the greatest weapon. When Jesus was on trial, He remained silent before His accusers, not because He was weak, but because He understood that no amount of words could change the course that God had set for Him. His silence was an act of obedience. It was a declaration that He trusted His Father's plan more than the need to defend Himself. And in the end, His silence led to victory. You must learn this lesson. Not every attack requires a response. Not every doubt must be explained. Not every vision needs validation. Some things must be protected, not because they are weak, but because they are powerful. Your dreams, your plans, your divine calling, these are sacred. They are not meant to be placed in the hands of those who cannot carry them. And so God is calling you higher. He is asking you to move with wisdom, to recognize the power of your words, to understand that revelation must come in His timing, not yours. He is reminding you that not everyone is meant to hear what He has spoken to you in secret. Some things are for you and Him alone. Chosen one, hear this truth. There is strength in your silence. There is protection in your discretion. There is power in waiting on God. Those who grasp this will walk in a level of favor that others cannot understand. They will move in alignment with God's will, free from unnecessary battles, free from the delays that come with misplaced trust. They will step into their purpose fully prepared, fully equipped, fully anointed. And when the time comes, when God Himself reveals what He has been building within you, the world will stand in awe. Because what is birthed in silence carries a strength that cannot be shaken. Chosen one, this is your moment of decision. You have been given insight, a revelation that few truly understand. The question now is, what will you do with it? Will you continue as before, speaking carelessly, sharing your vision with those who do not value it? Or will you step into divine wisdom, guarding what God has given you with the strength of faith and obedience? God is watching. He has placed this message before you as a warning, but also as an opportunity. The doors that He is preparing to open for you require a new level of discipline. You cannot walk into your destiny with the same habits that held you back before. You cannot expect elevation while continuing to expose sacred things to unprepared ears. If you truly desire what God has in store for you, then you must act accordingly. This is not about fear. This is about power. The power of restraint. The power of spiritual maturity. The power of understanding that not every battle is fought with words. Some victories are won in silence. Some breakthroughs come not from explaining, but from trusting. Some doors will open only when you prove that you can hold what God has given you without seeking approval from others. The enemy wants your voice. He wants you to reveal too much, to cast your pearls before swine, to hand over your blessings before they can take root. But today, you must make a declaration. I will no longer give the enemy access to my destiny. I will no longer allow careless words to delay what God has prepared for me. From this moment forward, I will walk in wisdom, in silence, in divine discretion. This is the moment of transformation. Will you take it? If this message has spoken to you, if you feel the weight of its truth in your spirit, then let it be known. Let this be the moment you step into alignment with God's plan. Declare it. Speak not to the world, but to God. Tell Him that you are ready, that you will trust Him, that you will guard what He has given you with the reverence it deserves. You have been chosen. Now, prove that you are ready. Chosen one, God's plans for you have not changed. The calling on your life is still unfolding. The blessings He has prepared are still waiting for you. But He is asking something of you. He is asking for your trust. There is a level of favor that only the disciplined can walk in, a level of divine protection that only the obedient can access, a future so extraordinary that it cannot be rushed, forced, or exposed before its time. And that future is yours, if you will guard it. You do not need to explain yourself to the world. You do not need validation from those who cannot see what God is doing in your life. Your journey is sacred. Your path is set apart. And when the time is right, when God Himself lifts the veil and reveals all that He has prepared, no one will be able to deny what He has done for you. Until then, walk in silence. Move in wisdom. Trust in divine timing. God's anger is not against you. It is for you. It is the urgency of a father who sees the dangers ahead, who knows that careless words can delay what should already be yours. But He is also a God of mercy, of redemption, of restoration. What was lost can still be recovered. What was delayed can still come to pass. What was stolen will be returned, if you align yourself with His wisdom today. A new season is approaching, a season of breakthroughs, of answered prayers, of divine fulfillment, but only for those who are prepared, only for those who understand that the most powerful revelations are the ones whispered by God in the quiet, not shouted to the world before their time. Chosen one, Your future is waiting. The next chapter of your life is already written, already set in motion by the hand of God. And when it is revealed, it will be undeniable. Your faithfulness will be rewarded. Your patience will be honored. Your silence will speak louder than words. Stand firm. Hold your peace. And watch as God moves in ways you never expected. Chosen one, if this message has stirred something deep within you, if you feel the weight of God's call for wisdom and discretion, then take a moment to acknowledge it. Let God know that you hear Him. Let Him know that you are ready. Have you ever experienced a moment when speaking too soon brought unnecessary struggle? Have you felt the consequences of trusting the wrong people with sacred things? Share your experience below. Your testimony may help another chosen one realize the importance of guarding their divine destiny. If this message has spoken to you, let it be known. Write, "I will guard what God has given me," in the comments as a declaration of faith. Let this be a moment of agreement, a moment where the chosen ones unite in wisdom and obedience. And if you are walking this journey and seeking divine confirmation, stay connected. Make sure you are part of this community, because together we will walk in the wisdom of God, ensuring that nothing He has prepared for us is stolen, delayed, or destroyed. God is moving. Your destiny is unfolding. Stay silent. Stay faithful, and watch as He does the impossible in your life.